cholesterol that's 300 and not have a serious problem if you haven't had inflammation. That's why you always have to check CRP and homocysteine and all of those, because those will show how much inflammation is in the body. Because it's the inflammation in the vessels where the cholesterol goes there to plaque, to try to support it, to build it up. And that's where the blockage happens, okay? So this is an anti-inflammatory. So we're going to keep that from happening. Now, with strokes, the one thing about it is they've cut off circulation to the brain, wherever it may be, and so cells have died. You need to regenerate those cells, and that's one of the big keys there. But also the whole blood vessels, you know, the whole endothelial and epithelial tissue, and that's where you have to regenerate all of that, and have to blood where it's not so thick, so it's, you know, it has to flow, it has to have more viscosity, so it'll nourish and flow throughout the blood vessels in the whole body. So that's where the product will benefit. And I will say this, with a couple of the ingredients I've been working with this product over the years, we've seen people with severe strokes, extreme strokes, recover. I can't say it'll happen with everybody, you know, that's it's not a miracle drug or anything of that nature, but we've seen people be able to take it and be able to regenerate. We know it regenerates cells. I mean, that's the key. Their brain is going to function better, no doubt about it. If they regain use of maybe paralysis, you can't say, because there may be nerve damage there. You know, it could have gotten so extreme that there's nerve damage, and that's very, very difficult to regenerate. You know, it's but in the most part, we've seen wonderful benefits. And it's one thing about it is it can't hurt, because it's only going to help the blood flow and circulation throughout the body. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you have another question, you can go ahead and ask it, because nobody else is popping out.
All right, all right. Can you hear me now? So sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, second question. Is it normal to have difficulties in sleeping after consuming Cell H Plus? I have a customer who could only fall asleep around 5 a.m. These symptoms has lasted for consecutive 2 days. Okay, since the day she started to consume Cell H Plus.
2 days?
2 days, 2.
Well, I wouldn't take it at night for her. I would only take it in the morning. And the one thing is, it's been a full moon the past 2 days, so that's one thing that can affect sleep. But I would have her cut back, him or her, whoever. I would have them cut back to maybe half and see what happens. And it maybe be taking it later in the evening. It could be too much energy. It could be overstimulating. There's no caffeine in it. I mean, that's a given. I mean, it's 100% pure natural products. And one thing I want to mention about some of the herbs we have in there, they are actually potentized. You know, they're very high extract. So they're not just like a normal herb. They're very, very strong. And for some people, it can be too much. Just cut back a little bit and it can build back up. So that's what I was saying earlier. Some people may have to start off gradually to build up to a higher dosage, because a lot of people are just too toxic. That's what it comes down to, and they're going to have to get the bad stuff out and put the good stuff in.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay, next question. How long it took the product be tasted before launch?
I'm sorry, say again?
How long it took the product be tested before launch?
Oh my gosh.
Before we launch our product?
Well, you mean samples or actually clinical research and trials? You mean sample before launch or? or clinical trials? Which one are you referring to? Let me just answer. With regards to trials, we've been doing trials and research the trials and studies on every ingredient, which goes back 20, 30 years. So we only used ingredients that we know were safe, and then they wouldn't it wouldn't be contraindicated. And we don't know of any that are contraindicated with medications, because they're all foods. That's the great thing about it. It's all food source ingredients. And so we're getting ready to do some clinical trials. We've been setting it up this last week. Dr. Steele and I have, along with Lawrence and Dr. Lane. And we'll be doing those before long, and we'll be able to show how it increases stem cells and balances the blood chemistry and all of that. It's a total product. But I've been working with these individual ingredients for over 20 years, and I know they're some of the best in the world. And so that we spent a lot of time researching this product, a lot of time, to make sure we were getting the highest quality, but also a synergistic balance of ingredients. You know, I do feel that it's very strong formula, which is fantastic. You know, I mean, it's going to work and it's effective, and we did nothing to cut costs with it, you know, to make it cheaper. And we wanted to have the best, the highest quality of all of the ingredients. So we shopped the world to get the best, and we'll continue to do so. And we'll continue to do more research in the future. But with regard to how long, I don't know. You'd have to ask probably Lawrence or Dr. Amy, because I'm not involved in that aspect of how long they've been testing it, sampling it, and all of that.
Now, for my own self, I have been testing it before launch for about 2 months. Yeah, and I love it. I don't have the problem in sleeping, and I find myself in actually I have better sleep. Yeah.
Great.
So shall I proceed to next question?
Sure.
Okay. Will the fiber cause problem with constipation with a person who is bedridden?
It should help, actually, because when you're bedridden, you don't get much exercise, you don't get much muscular movement, and even the peristalsis, which is the rhythmic movement of the colon, it can get what they call atonic, or basically it just doesn't function well. Well, what's great about this is it's providing a prebiotic and a probiotic, both. So it's going to help the body create the stool, to move the stool. Now, you always want to drink a lot of water or fluids. One thing I've known, I've seen throughout Asia, most people don't drink much water. I'm just amazed, you know, how little water, well, Americans too, I'm sure, but I just notice it more in Asia. You've got to drink water, and particularly when you're doing a powder like this, you know, you want to be able to create that lubrication. And anytime you eat a dry substance, you know, a powder, you want to be able to dilute it or mix it with water, you know, so that it can be processed better and eliminated better and move everything. The body needs water. I mean, that's all. It's a car needs water, you know, we've got to have it. So I just encourage everybody to drink a little more pure water whenever, you know, they're taking the product, and definitely would help with constipation. In fact, practically every ingredient in there has been shown to improve the colon balance, intestinal balance.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay, next question. Would Cell H Plus cause sore throat? I have a customer after drinking Cell H Plus for around 1 month. Keep coughing and difficult to sleep at night. But during the daytime, the coughing is not that severe. may I know that? May I know what is happening to her body?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible it could be related to the cell plus, but I mean cell H plus. But I you think of all the ingredients. There, it's so hypoallergenic. I don't know that it create the cough. I'd be very, very concerned that there may be some bacteria or viruses that the body's dealing with. But um, or maybe the vertebrae are out of place. You need to see a chiropractor or osteopath like me, but get aligned. There may be, at the most extreme possibility, is that there's an allergy to one of the ingredients. I mean, it's possible. I just find it hard to imagine how and why it would lead to coughing. I mean, it sounds like an allergy. Um, there's so many factors that could be causing that. And there's so many people these days who've got a cough. And I mean, I would say I would test for COVID, that that's, and maybe already have. I mean, but you know, the problem with COVID these days, the corona, is so many people don't even know it because they're asymptomatic, and that's one of the main reasons why it's been, you know, so contagious. But so many factors could be affecting. But what I would say is cut back and even stop and see if the cough goes away. And then introduce with a smaller dose. You know, you can do half if they need to, you know, to see what works for you. Some people love 4 a day. Like, Dr. Amy, how many do you take a day?
2 a day in the morning, empty stomach.
Uh-huh.
I normally take it with empty stomach.
And I just saw Dr. Elaine dosing 2 of them down at a time. So I know she does 2 a day. I usually do 1 or 2 in the morning in my smoothie, and it works perfect for me. So, you know, have this individual just cut back. If they see any differences in their life that they feel aren't balanced, then just cut back. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You don't have to do 4 a day. You don't have to do 2 a day. You know, it may be enough to get 1. I mean, it's not all about money for us. You know, it's not about all profits. We want to look at what's the whole concern here, and our whole philosophy is we want to help the health of the world. We want to support the health of the world. You know, we're not curing any disease. We're very, very adamant about that. But we want to help your body do what it can to stay healthy. And you got to find your happy medium. You know, the person needs, or everybody does, what works for them. And it may be initially, it may be too much detox. They may have to cut back a little bit, but then they can build back up, because we want to regenerate, continue to regenerate. And the one thing about it is it's all foods. And that's why and the pea protein, which could maybe affect some people, but it's known to be one of the foremost hypoallergenic proteins in the world. So it's hard to say. I mean, I wouldn't exclude it as a possibility that it could be the product, but I find it highly improbable.
Okay. And also, one of our friends asking how this product help in slimming.
Slimming? That's a great question. You know, what I would like to do in the near future is a study that show how it can help with weight loss. The good thing about it is that it has certain fibers in there which can help reduce your cravings for food. And the best part about it is it has the nutrients in it that will give your body what it needs, so it's not craving more and more and more. You know, a lot of times overeating is a result of the body. Oh, I haven't gotten enough nutrient. I have my body saying, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. You know, and but then you get the wrong kind of carbohydrates. You get wheat. You know, it takes sugar, and then the weight comes on. And what we've shown, down to 5%, what we've shown is that the ingredients in there can help reduce the craving for food as the body feel a little more fuller, so there's not as much craving for food. We all eat way too much food. Oh my gosh, I mean, I was talking earlier about my mentor, 107, when he decided he just wanted to go. He ate one meal a day. One meal, in the middle of the day, about 2 or 3 o'clock. At the time, it was maybe a little fruit, little nuts, things like that. My God, I mean, we engorge ourselves with, 3 heavy meals a day sometimes. And if we were out there busting rocks, or athletes like LeBron James or whatever, working out every day, something like that, we need more protein. We need more food. We need more energy food, more carbohydrates. But if we're couch potatoes, which a lot of people, not us, but a lot of people are, that's why they gain so much weight, they're not exercising, burning it. So what does it do? It stores it in fat, So, of course, we all need to exercise. We all need to drink more fluids, and we need to eat the right foods. We also need to get the right nutrition. So, yeah, we'd love to do a study sometime soon to show how it can help with weight reduction.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Another question from Paul Heavy.
Oh, no. I don't want that one. He's my old friend.
Elaine, are you the same Elaine from Smith and Nephew? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul has a question?
Next question. Yeah, it was a question. Okay.
What was the question?
The question was, Elaine, are you the same Elaine from Smith and Nephew?
No, don't worry about that. No, the question was, Dr. Mark, how long does it take before it sort of levels off? So if you're starting off with 4, when you said it for acute patients or people that have got, some imbalance, does it level off after a period of time? So you start off with 4, two a day. Does it reduce to 1? At what sort of time period before you start not noticing any improvement in your bodily functions? Or do you have to keep having it forever?
Yeah, everybody is different every week, and so it's they have their own constitution. So it's impossible to say how long it will take. But everybody has to monitor that themselves. You look at, okay, I've got some acute illness. I need to balance quick. So you may take 4. If that works, fantastic. It may be only 2. But after that, you can get down to 1 or 2. I'll probably take 1 a day, or maybe for the rest of my life, because I really like the product. I think it has some wonderful benefits. I might lose you here. I'm down to 3%. I'm going to have to run to the other room to charge. But so I think, one thing people need to realize, it took a long time to get to where they are, to get that toxic, to get that disorder that they have. So it can to get back into balance, and it may not happen overnight. It's not a drug. I mean, a drug's going to change things automatically, What this does, it's a builder, so the body can start balancing, detox, regenerate. And that can take some time, it's like I say, it's not a drug, it's not an infusion, that's going to give you instant boom. But what we've seen a lot over and over, we hear, wow, I have so much more energy. I feel much more positive. My head's much clearer than it was before. So I'm coffee now or whatever it may be. I stopped smoking. We're hearing incredibly amount of wonderful, we'll call them testimonials, but reports, results. And a few people, of course, have gone through a little detox and just say, hey, cut back. You can take a little more time. Let me move in the other room because I think I'm about to lose you. Sorry. Did that answer, Paul?
Hmm?
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about, like, you have so many stem cells in your body, right? But you regenerate, they're degenerating, so you're having less and less as you get older, right?
That's what happens, yeah.
So it's working it's working on the existing ones that you do have, right?
Both. Not only is it feeding the ones you have to bring them out of hibernation, but the ones you have, they're giving them the energy to do the job they need to do. And third is it creating new ones. You know what now I didn't finish with the study, I forgot. We did not only 5 hours, we did 7-day, we did 15-day, we did 30-day, we did 90-day follow-up tests. It was incredibly expensive, flow cytometry, to show that we were able to increase stem cells. The levels kept going up, up, up. And on the 30th day, almost all of them started balancing. I went, oh my gosh. So I called Dr. Steele and I said, oh, you know what happens after 30 days, these participants are gaining a tolerance to it. It's not increasing their stem cells anymore. And she says, oh, thank God. I said, what are you talking about? Says, what you want to do with stem cells is you build up the level that you need to whereas they're producing what they need to produce. Then what happens with these nutrients is they will convert into using them for energy rather than building new ones and new ones, other than regenerating those you need. You reach this optimal level, you know. If you create too many, this is the problem with so many stem cell therapies out there today. They have no way of monitoring how many stem cells are given to that person. And a lot of times they develop cancers. It's happened over and over again because they give them too many cells the body can't handle and they start going haywire. What we showed is that we were able to bring it up to a certain balance and then it maintains, which is great. And then the body will just automatically take those nutrients. Instead of creating new stem cells, it'll take it and use for energy, because the body needs two things. It needs to regenerate new cells, but it needs the energy to run those cells, the mitochondria, the ATP, the DNA, the RNA, all of that. So it's twofold in that we have shown, that's why we patented it, because it has a dual process of being able to not only create new stem cells by the millions, millions, and millions in only 5 hours, and then 7 day, 15, continue. But if it doesn't need that, it balances out, and then it uses that for energy, more and more energy, because we always can use more energy, you know. So that's the wonderful thing about the product, is the balance that it creates.
All right. Got it, Mr. Paul Heavy?
He's over in Indonesia. My Kiwi friend from Indonesia.
All right. And where to get the clinical report for cell age?
Say again?
The next question, where to get the clinical report for cell age plus?
Well, we don't have one on Cell Age Plus yet. That's it's a new product. You know, we just developed it. We have all the research on the individual ingredients and combination of ingredients, and we've got tons of research on that. And we'll be making that available. That's up to, you know, the you guys, the organizers, and all of that. But we've got the research, and so you'll have to talk to you all about, you know, when it's available. But the new study, it'll probably take us about 1 or 2 months to complete it. But it's coming. Like I say, it's formulating. It takes a long time to organize these and set it up. You know, my study before took a year, but that's because we did it in the US and in Thailand to show that a big part of the product creates stem cells. And so we know it's going to do it, and we know it does it. And so we'll do the clinical research to demonstrate that. And it takes time to set up. It just really does. It's a lot of factors involved there, IRBs, and oh my gosh, all the approvals, blah, 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 FDA, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
But soon, we hope, as soon as we can.
Yeah, we are actually doing it. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Smith. Next question. If the customer has to take Western medicine, meaning drugs, before meal, can he consume the product immediately after consume the medicine, or consume Cell Age Plus before the medicine? If the customer has the skin problem like psoriasis, how long it takes to see the result?
You cut out on the first part, Dr. Amy.
Okay, first question. Yeah. if the customer has to take Western medicine before
Yeah.
meal,
Yes.
can he consume the product immediately after consume the medicine?
What kind of medicine?
It's drugs. Western, they call it Western medicine. Western medicine means drugs.
Okay, nothing specific. He's just talking about Western. Well, the thing about when they tell you to take a drug before the meal, they want you to take it on an empty stomach. So in that respect, I would do the drug, let it absorb, and possibly do the product with the meal, because it's very important if they say before the meal that they want you to have that drug on an empty stomach. So you don't want to take the two together. Now, I agree. I mean, it's a very, very good point. And so, just wait. I mean, like I said earlier, even if you take it with the meal, you're still going to get the benefits. So that's the real key there. So yes, good point. Good to take with the meal rather than with the drug, because the drug needs to be taken on an empty stomach if they're telling you to take before the meal. So you get better absorption of it.
Okay. So next question. If the customer has skin problem like psoriasis,
Yep.
how long it takes to see the result?
Well, here's what I was just telling Paul. You know what? I've always said in my practice for over 30 years, everybody is different. I mean, you don't see anybody who looks exactly like anybody else, right? We're all different, inside and outside. We all have our own constitutions. We all have different metabolism, Practically everybody today has low thyroid, so the metabolism is already reduced. But some have hyperthyroid. I've found a lot in Asia more than anywhere else. But so it can take different people, different time, different stages of psoriasis. Now, keep in mind, psoriasis, a big part of that is the liver, and they need to detox the liver. I mean, that's a big, big part, and the colon. I mean, we in our clinics and our centers, retreat facilities, the first thing we do with psoriasis is clean out the colon. And that's a great thing about this product. It's going to help do that. And then the liver. I mean, those two, with psoriasis, you have to get off milk. You just got to. And you got to get off a lot of the fatty foods, and you got to give the liver a break, and alcohol, things of that nature, just to give it a break so it can regenerate and balance. And then once it does, your body's going to heal so much quicker. If you're continuing to adulterate your body with all these toxins, then you're not going to heal as fast. I mean, that just happens. That's unfortunately, but so it's impossible to say how long it will take. Each individual is different, and you may require different amounts of the Cell Plus, Cell Age Plus. So I wish I could say, but I can't.
Okay. So next question. What kind of the people cannot consume Cell Age Plus and why?
I don't know anybody who doesn't eat, right? You have to eat to live. Some people live to eat. But the key here is there's nobody who I can think of who can't take it. Well, maybe it's not best for pregnant and lactating women because it can create a little too much detox. I mean, the other aspect of it is going to truly nourish the embryo and the child inside them, and prenatal and all of that. But it can be maybe too much of a detox for lactating, breastfeeding, and also for pregnant women. And it's also, there's nothing in it that can cause contractions. We really researched that. There's nothing contraindicated there. But I think it's all of a matter of the body maybe getting rid of the toxins too fast. In this world today, that I don't want to harp on that, but we have a toxic environment. We have toxic diets, I mean, it's really pretty extreme around the world today. And so getting back into balance can take some time. This will help. And what I always say is, hey, you know, if you're going too fast, just cut back a little bit. Just cut back and you can build back up as you go. It's like I said earlier when I was speaking with Paul, you know, it took a long time for people to develop this disorder. It just didn't happen overnight. They may say, oh, you know, I've been fine. All of a sudden I have psoriasis. It just came last night. You know, it's a matter of how long did it take them to develop that psoriasis, for their liver to get so congested, for their blood to get so congested that their skin is having to eliminate these toxins. Our skin is our body's largest eliminator. It's the biggest one. That's why saunas, infrared saunas, are so great, because we support our skin detoxing. But the colon is a big one. The liver is a big one. And so we've got to keep those functioning, keep them balanced, and not over-adulterate them over and over again. The more toxic they are, the longer it's going to take to recover from the psoriasis. But you really have to look at the food you're eating. That's a big part of it. And any other types of substances may be consuming that, you know, could be causing havoc on the liver. The liver is the body's hazardous waste processing plant. The colon is the hazardous waste disposal plant, so to speak. So we have to look at how many jobs the liver has. And if we're continuing to just put so many toxins into it and so many substances, and God, I mean, forbid individuals are smoking, because that's the worst toxin in the world. And tobacco is fantastic. Pure tobacco is fantastic. It's actually a healthy herb, but it's all the chemicals they put into it, which that's what kills people, not the tobacco. I mean, people need to understand that. And the toxic metals, the 100 chemicals, I mean, the carcinogens in it, it's like smoking cancer, you know, so, and heart disease and everything, even Alzheimer's now, they're showing a direct correlation. But, you know, just cut back as much as you can. But, and alcohol, heavy alcohol, you know, if you're drinking heavy alcohol, switch to maybe something like a good fermented alcohol, like sake or wine, or even a good beer. So it's much less damaging to the liver and the body and the brain too. If you're going to drink, you know, drink more moderate, lower alcohol content drinks than the heavy, more potent ones, because it's too much for the body to handle. You know, it kills the cells, and it makes the liver so toxic that it's just, it can't handle it. It's too much. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith. Doctor, can you explain again how it can help on the autism child?
You know, like I mentioned, one of the top scientific researchers from MIT in America, she's been monitoring the escalating growth of autism, incidence of autism around the world. I don't have the numbers in front of me. In China, millions. India, millions. I mean, 10, 20 million children. I think it's more than that now. It's just continuing to escalate. She connected it with the glyphosate, I think is what they call it. I always mispronounce that. From Roundup, you know, which is in almost all of the foods that people eat these days, because it's an herbicide. And they banned it in many countries because now they realize how horrible it is. It's one of the most toxic substances on this planet. I mean, we thought dioxin was bad, Agent Orange. Roundup could be worse because of how its effect on the cells. So, and also, unfortunately, some of the mercuries and toxic metals in vaccinations are showing a correlation. That's disputable, you know, but we won't get into that. But what happens with autism, first you have to look at food allergies. You know, you have to make sure you're not eating too much wheat, sugar, milk. You may have to do a food allergy test, you know, to check and see if they have sensitivity to certain foods. Maybe be eggs, maybe bananas. I mean, there's so many things people can be allergic to, but particularly wheat. I mean, that's number one, probably sugar and such. You've got to look at the food allergies because that lowers the inflammation right there. And a big part of autism is you've got to regenerate those cells. You've got to get them back into the synapses connected, which is the brain cells. We call them the dendrites and the dendrites anyway, the dendrites. They're like the fibers, the communication between the cells, and those get disrupted, and that's when autism just goes haywire. I mean, I won't get into the politics of it. I know it's disputable, and I fought a lot in America. We had a whole group that took mercury out of the flu vaccine in New Mexico when I had a clinic there, and we saw such a reduction in autism with that, and so many other ill effects from the flu vaccine. But now they've reduced that or taken it out of many of them. But I won't get into that because it's controversial, and I'm just a guest here in Malaysia, so I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm not here to to change the system here. I support it because it helps so many people. It's more a matter of we need to reduce the stresses that are happening on autistic children. So many of them are so brilliant, they're geniuses, but they're just, their cells are so disrupted, their network, that we have to balance that. And so we've seen wonderful results with some ingredients in this product with autism over the years. And you also got to get the heavy metals out. That's the key. So without getting, political about it, there is hope with autism. And many people getting many benefits around the world, going a natural route. Another thing that's great for autism, I've found, is one of my buddies, he's probably the foremost HBOT, hyperbaric oxygen therapy doctors in the world. And he's getting great results with autism, So if you can get to a hyperbaric oxygen with autism, they're seeing good results, and it's worth a try, because hyperbaric oxygen just gets the oxygen more into the cells and into the tissues. And so it can be very beneficial, and there's absolutely no harm from it. So I would recommend that as well. But look at food allergies. You really got to reduce the allergies.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith.
And this product is phenomenal as an anti-inflammatory and all natural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor. Another question. I have a customer after consuming Cell H Plus about a week or two. His skin started to get red patches and small red acne.